I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, right, and I came across this tweet which basically said that X would be as big as Drake, Travis, and Kanye if he was still alive. And you know, this is obviously quite a controversial tweet, and it didn't sit well with some people, but it's still an interesting tweet, and I think it's worth talking about. And let me just start this video by saying there's no way in f***ing hell he would have been bigger than Drake. Absolutely not, okay? I love X, right, but no offense, this is such a delusional take. I don't think there'll be any artist bigger than Drake for the next decade at least. Like, in one category you've got the big artists like Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift, but in a completely different category you have Drake. Just Drake by himself. It's like comparing the size of Kendall Jenner's tits to the size of Nicki Minaj's tits. There's just no comparison. There really isn't. Drake is just in a category of his own. And the main reason X would never be as popular as Drake is because of his controversies. Other than the fact that, well, it's Drake. This is the main reason this comparison is total bullshit. Drake, just like any other big artist, has his dick licked by so many radio stations, and this is the era we have to be as PR friendly as possible. Even then, it's just pick and choose by the industry who they like and who they don't like. Look at people like Cardi B who admitted to robbing and drugging men. Justin Bieber who said the N-word publicly multiple times, they still get plenty of radio play. But someone like X, you'd think he's murdered about 50 people and blown up 3 schools, because he's getting cancelled for allegations that haven't even been proven yet. And people like Cardi B who have physically admitted, said themselves that they're a fucking scumbag, still get their shitty music played 20 times a day. Getting radio play and playlisting whilst you're a rapper is hard enough because of the explicit nature of your song. And I'm not saying X only made rap music because he ventured out quite a bit into other genres, but because he's considered a rapper, anything he puts out is going to be considered rap by radio people. Like, Blinding Lights by The Weeknd is considered an R&B song for whatever fucking reason. But add the fact that he's a rapper to his allegations and the double standards in the music industry, he just wouldn't be as big as Drake, okay? Drake is loved by the industry, X just isn't. And my issue isn't that they don't want to play X because of his allegations, because I get that, I totally do. My issue is them just picking and choosing. Cardi B, for example, you either stop playing her music or you play X's at the same time. None of this inconsistent, hypocritical, double standards bullshit. I guess the reason is that they just don't want to be boycotted by angry Karens complaining, because X's allegations are a lot more public than Cardi B's, but that just shows radio stations care more about themselves than actual morals. Now, let's just say hypothetically X was proven innocent, and that would certainly help, but I still don't think he'd be bigger than Drake. The reason is the media. The media is so fucking toxic, right? They only care about spreading bad news and brainwashing people for clicks. We saw it when the audio leaked of X's conversation regarding his allegations. The media hopped straight onto it and took the clips out of context to make it sound like he fucked her up and physically abused her. But if you listen to the clips in full, it was clearly him saying he didn't touch her. But the media for some reason made it seem like he was guilty and painted him as a villain, because all they want is clicks. So there's nothing to make me believe the media outlets would report him being proven innocent to the same extent they do with bad news. Obviously, this isn't me saying no one would know he's innocent. Quite a few people would. But at the same time, quite a few people wouldn't, because it just wouldn't make as many headlines. And in terms of popularity, he'd still be missing out on the SJW demographic. Obviously, this would mean radio stations would play him and he'd get more playlisting, but he'd still have the demographic that listens to the toxic media cancelling him. But if he was proven innocent, he'd be a lot closer to Drake. Drake, Kanye, and Travis, they're like 3 levels of big. Drake is Mount Everest, Kanye is the Burj Khalifa, and Travis is the Empire State Building. A lot of people say he wouldn't be bigger than Travis, but I disagree, and that's mainly down to his following. And I know Travis also has a cult following, but in my opinion, it comes nowhere near close to X's. Like, remember the 2017 days where every single fucking person had a variation of his profile picture somewhere? X stands are a different breed, man. And honestly, I think a lot of that can be attributed to X himself. All the allegations and past controversies aside, he was such a likable person, super humble, super chill, and super down to earth. Like, the dude uploaded fucking League of Legends and PUBG videos onto YouTube. I don't think there's any artist in the world who cared as much about the fans as X. And I'm gonna keep it completely honest, this made me like his music so much more. And I don't care if it sounds corny, right, but seeing an artist that showed genuine care for his fans just made me want to support him more. And honestly, I think this is the reason, along with good music, that helped him develop such a strong following in the first place. Because I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way. He showed love to us, we showed love back. I think my biggest concern with X in terms of popularity in the future was oversaturation. He dropped like 3 projects in the course of roughly 6 months, I think, and I don't know if that would have continued, but I'm sure his fans would have gotten burnt out. But at the same time, his music is versatile enough and diehard fans probably wouldn't care. And at the end of the day, when half the industry fucking hates your guts, diehard fans are probably the only people that are going to be supporting you. So I guess it wouldn't really matter since he got to this stage anyway. I've seen people saying a more realistic comparison would be Uzi size big, which I can see, but he was already doing Uzi numbers when he was alive. So the question becomes, do you think X reached his peak? I definitely don't think so, because everything was dropping was being better and better. Sad was his first Billboard Top 10 hit, and that was slightly before he passed. I think it was just a matter of time before he got a number one, even with most of the industry against him. It's scary to think how big X could have been if he was still alive. Just look at his posthumous numbers. People clearly liked his music, and if the industry was on his side, it's scary to think what he could have become given his versatility and character. I think it's really interesting to think about, so let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm terrible at ending videos, so leave a like, subscribe, whatever, and I'm out.